Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 124 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. Today we are talking about financial health and well-being, of course. All this month we're focusing on finances. And we're going to use an exercise called the 7 Why exercise to dig deep, get at the root cause. Why? Because we can band-aid things all of our life. Think of our medical profession, always prescribing things to band-aid our health, but not necessarily getting to the root cause and curing that. It's when we get to the root cause of something and really solve the root problem that it positively impacts our life, our health, the rest of the organization, etc. So, what the heck is this 7 Why exercise and why do we want to use it? ChatGPT, I actually researched last night, and they credit this 7 Why exercise to Toyota company. I don't know if that's true or not. I'll have to dig a little deeper because I learned it from Dean Graziosi. Dean Graziosi has been one of my coaches and mentors for a couple of decades, long time. And in January of 2020, which just happened to be a fortuitous time, I thought 2020 was going to be the year of vision and focus and things related to sight and breakthroughs. And it turned out it was the year of shutdown, control, massive changes for a lot of us. And one of the things that I had done early that year, because I had been sick with COVID, not knowing it was COVID, over the Christmas and New Year's holiday. I mean, like really, really sick for about 3 weeks. It was the one day I missed doing videos, Christmas Day, because I couldn't put together more than a sentence without hacking up a lung. It was bad. And so I ended up watching Dean Graziosi was doing a presentation on the 7 Why exercise. And he, of course, had used it before, and I had used the 5 Why exercise for a lot of years, but he was skeptical when he first checked it out, adding 2 more whys, whether that would have any difference or not. And he found, like I was skeptical too and tested it out on myself, that asking why more times, just that 2 more times, went to a much deeper level of root cause and identifying long-held thoughts, beliefs, feelings, core values, traumas and experiences that we're not necessarily consciously aware of, but that are running our lives at any given time. It's why I wanted you to think about thoughts and beliefs yesterday. What are your thoughts and beliefs about finances? Because we're going to dive deep into one of those today using this 7 Why exercise. And whenever you find something coming up, I recommend, about ourselves, we only ever ask why, right? We will never understand the why that other people do things because a lot of times, like us, it's buried 7 or more layers deep and they don't even know why they're doing the things that they're doing on a conscious level. So I'm going to give a couple of examples of the 7 Why exercise, and I'm going to share a 6-step process of how you can apply this in your life. And really all you do is you think of your question. What is it you're asking a question about? Why? And then whatever answer pops into your head, you write that down as the first why. Then you ask why about the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, till you get down to what usually is a very revealing, self-identify awakening answer. And it might not be what you expected. It probably won't be what you expected as you go through the process, if you just really let yourself go and go through the process. So let me share a couple of examples. I've got 5 examples. I'm not going to share them all because it takes too long. But let's look at, for example, Sarah. Sarah wants to break free of debt. Her initial problem is, I keep getting into credit card debt every few months. So she asks herself, well, why? Why do I keep getting into credit card debt every few months? And the answer is because I spend more than I earn. Well, why do you spend more than you earn? Because I use shopping as a form of emotional relief. Well, why do you use shopping as a form of emotional relief? Because I feel overwhelmed and anxious often. Well, why do you feel overwhelmed and anxious often? Because I don't feel in control of my life or my future. Well, why do you not feel in control of your life or your future, Sarah? And she's asking herself this, because my career feels stagnant and I'm unsure of what to do next. And why are you feeling stagnant and unsure of what to do next? Because I don't believe I'm capable of achieving more. Well, why the heck do you not believe you're capable of achieving more? Because growing up, I was always told not to expect too much. Boom. That is something from her childhood and growing up throughout years, and probably repeated constantly. Well, don't expect too much, honey. You're just a girl. Or something to that effect. Sorry, Sarah. I'm making assumptions. So what's a breakthrough insight or thought that Sarah can glean from doing this exercise? Well, she realized that her debt is not just a financial problem, it's a problem rooted in low self-worth and emotional avoidance, right? Well, now she's attacking the real root cause of the problem, low self-worth and emotional avoidance. Whereas if she's just thinking she's got a financial problem and she spends too much, she would put different solutions in place to attack that problem than the actual root cause of the problem. How I attack not thinking I'm good enough or low self-esteem is very different than, hey, I'm spending too much money on my credit cards, right? Totally different problems that you're solving. Let's do one more and then I'll run through the process. Let's do David. He saves too much because of fear. We've talked about these people before, which is why I like continuing with their stories. Let's do, that's another self-worth one, so I don't want to do that one. Oh, I forgot these are on the back. Excuse me. Let's do Angela. Sorry, ladies, I'm picking on you today. Escaping from the paycheck to paycheck trap. Anyone ever lived paycheck to paycheck? I hate to admit it, but I have lived paycheck to paycheck before I knew better. So Angela wants to escape living paycheck to paycheck. Her initial problem, I live paycheck to paycheck and I can't seem to save. Why? Well, why? That's her question, her initial question. So she asks herself, well, why do I live paycheck to paycheck and can't seem to save? She says, because I don't have money left at the end of the month. Why do you not have money left at the end of the month? Because my income barely covers my expenses. Why does your income barely cover your expenses? She says, because I haven't asked for a raise in 5 years. Well, why haven't you asked for a raise in 5 years? If you're doing your job and you're doing it well and you know you're performing and getting results for your company, heck, you should have had a raise in 5 years. Because I'm afraid of confrontation and rejection. Well, why are you afraid of confrontation and rejection? Because I was taught to be grateful for what I have. Well, just because you were taught to be grateful for what you have, why is that? Because of my culture, asking for more is seen as greedy. Why is it seen as greedy in your culture? Because humility was ingrained more than ambition. So what can Angela learn from this? Again, she's looking at a deeply seated and tied to cultural and emotional conditioning challenge, not a living paycheck to paycheck challenge. So once she acknowledges this, she worked with the communications skills. She worked on her communication skills, negotiated herself a 20% raise, and started automating her savings to escape this cycle for good by paying herself first and putting her money into saving first and then living off the rest. That's a great strategy, by the way. We'll talk about some of those later on. So how do you do this, and what do you do, and how do you make this a part of your personal improvement, personal development, and getting what you want in life? Number one, choose a specific financial problem or question that you want to ask about or you want to dig more deeply into. I say, what is your biggest financial question, query, problem, challenge right now, and ask the 7 whys on that. Why do I have this silly cough and cold? Not a good question. All right. So first thing to do is choose a specific problem. For example, I'm always behind on rent. I can't save for retirement. Anytime you catch yourself saying, I can't, or I don't, or I always, or I never, those are great problems to ask the 7 why exercise on, or great questions to ask the 7 whys exercise on. Next, you ask why 7 times. Dig deeper with each question, and you don't even have to do it. It'll just automatically happen. Your brain will serve up the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. A lot of times people initially, before they've done this, think, oh, this is going to be so hard, but it's not. It happens actually faster than you can write the answers down. Number 3, look for patterns. Are your answers tied to childhood, relationships, societal conditioning, or any trauma that you've had in your life? Because that's how things get locked into us. That's how we get beliefs. And we do this with both good things that help make our life work, and we do it with things that kept us safe at the time but no longer apply, right? 4th, extract your core beliefs. We talked about our core beliefs before we did our thoughts and beliefs, but now we're going to go back. We always like to circle back. I hate that expression. We always like to go back and review and add more information to the previous steps of the process. Why? Because the process works every single time to help us get what we want. Challenge and reframe what you find out about yourself when you do this exercise. If you just do it and then you don't do anything with it, and you just say, oh, that's just the way I am, boom, dead stop. You're not going to change or improve anything. But if you say, okay, wow, I had no idea what happened in 3rd grade is still playing out in my financial life today. That allows you the opportunity to say, hey, I am not that 3rd grader anymore. Look at all I've accomplished between now and then. I can totally tackle this. I am more than capable. And then create a new financial behavior that will match you getting what it is that you want. In this scenario with Angela and with Sarah, they both realized, oh my gosh, these are cultural and things from my childhood. They were other people's beliefs in a lot of cases, not mine, that were put upon me for good reason, right? As parents and grandparents, we tell kids things to try to keep them safe and keep them learning and moving in the right direction so that they can grow up to be good human beings. But sometimes our fears come through and our false beliefs come through. And so that's why as adults, we always get to think for ourselves. So what are we going to do today? 7Y exercise. Get your financial question, put it in your notebook. I've already got I don't have my question, but I've got my stage set for filling it in. Because that ensures that I will actually do it today, right? Any questions about this? Ask. That's all you have to do, because I'm here to help you. Have an awesome day. Have fun with this. This is such a powerful way to become self-aware. And the more self-aware we are, the easier it is for us to be a better version of ourselves. All right? Have a great day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow. Hopefully not coughing so much.